Let the Combiner Wars begin. Hey guys, what's up? BC coming back at you guys with yet another Transformers video review, and today we are going to be taking a look at Wave 1 Voyager Prime and basically what's of Wave 4 for Optimus Maximus, but basically I'm doing Ultra Prime because I don't care what anybody has to say. If I'm gonna get the white Prime, I'm calling it Nova. Like, just putting that out there right now. Anyways, yeah, here is Optimus's combiner team, so to speak. And, you know, basically the very moment we found out that he was gonna be a combiner torso, I'm like, he's gonna have his own combiner team at some point. Everybody else argued, saying that there was no possible way Optimus was gonna get his own combiner team because it wouldn't have made sense. You can eat your words now. I will give you some ketchup. Anyways, with that said, I'm going to start with Optimus, and then I'll just kind of move to whoever I feel should be done next, which will most likely be Rodimus. And before I continue on, I did end up picking up the Shapeways kit. I have it in purple for Blackjack as well. I will be reviewing that set soon, as well as a few other things. We'll get into that soon, and I have a lot to say about that. Now, Optimus. His vehicle mode feels very traditional. And that's something I actually kind of like about this. It's not like some new rendition of the truck mode. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a bit more, what's the word, modernized, so to speak. Kind of like how the Classics version kind of was the same thing. But this, like, you know, looking at it front on, you can tell this looks way more on model to Optimus's original truck design than the Classics one was. And just, you know, this overall feels, it's nice and big and chunky, and I really like that about the truck mode. The weapons, on the other hand, I like this one because this is the very typical Optimus Prime Ion Blaster. What the hell is this? I mean, seriously. And they have this set up to where if you look at the guns, they look like pieces of an engine block. So you'd think they'd connect together like that. They don't at all. They connect together like that. And that is ridiculously stupid. So, yeah. At this rate, I pretty much gave up on the weapons. Moving the weapons off to the side and getting back to the truck so we can get another transformation. And the transformation is actually pretty simple. You're gonna flip down these little red panel things. And you're gonna unlatch the arms from the legs. As you can see, there is this little notch right here that fits over a little tab. It's a very loose connection, but it works for what it's supposed to do. You split this, and it all folds out like that. All this will rotate around, and you straighten out the arm. And there is Optimus's upper torso, which you then extend the legs and then pull down to bring out his waist, flip up his feet, split his legs. Yeah, a lot needs to be said about these hip joints. Come to the top and push down on this. Where basically you get a little, it's like a little drawbridge that when you flip it over, it brings his head up, which is a really neat transformation element. And with that said, here is Optimus, and there you go. There's my biggest issue with his freaking hips. You can't play. There's no play in these ratchets. Like, as far as the outward motion goes, like that. Like, that's as good as I'm gonna get. And that's ridiculous. I mean, that and these are so ridiculously tight. I'm scared I'm gonna break the damn thing. I'm considering going to the Nonef, however you say it, the Nonef hip ratchet joints, so that I can replace the ones in here. Cause this is just a nightmare. But with that said, there's Voyager Prime in his respected robot mode. And let's kind of raise up the camera just a wee bit so we can actually get a look at his prey. So we can get a look at him. And he's proper beefcake. And I like that about him. He can hold this gun, and he can hold this one too if you are so inclined. You can have him dual wield. I don't know why you would do this. And since, and thankfully, due to the way these store onto the vehicle mode, you can just slot this onto the back of his leg and store it there. And boom, you can't even see it. You wouldn't even know that the thing exists. So, yeah, I have a thing. I like the arms. I hate the elbows. Because that's a weak elbow joint. And it's entirely due to the fact of how he transforms into his combiner mode. It's just, I don't know. And the head sculpt is actually pretty cool. It's very traditional Optimus Prime, but it's too small for the body. So yeah, you can clearly tell with this general version of the mold, there are a lot of problems. And honestly, I can deal with that because it invokes Optimus in a way that I feel it was supposed to. It's got a proper beefy, bulky, powerful looking robot look to him, and that's what I wanted out of an Optimus for the longest time, where like you get a look at him and you see he's this big, bulky robot, where he looks like he's supposed to be the commander. Now moving on to Rodimus. This is my first time taking a look at this mold, so we're going to go into it with as much detail as possible. This little thing, yeah. I'm gonna go into this real quick. The connections are ridiculously loose, where like for Blackjack, you can have it like this and have them grab onto the barrel of the gun and use this as an axe. But yeah, you see, there's the problem right there. The connection is not exactly what it should be, and this isn't as bad as what I'm about to show you, but it's still noteworthy. Moving on to Rodimus himself. Oh, and before I do that, if you pull this off, if you pull the gun off, and then just plug this on, it's this proper spoiler. So yeah, that's the main reason why I got the Shapeways kit. Well, okay, that and yeah. Anyways, moving on. Transformation is rather simple. You pull on his arms to bring them out, rotate them, pop this piece, and then fold it all the way onto the back like that, and then fold all this down split his legs, and there is little Rodimus. Now, as you can see, clearly enough, with the transformation, the stock transformation, he looks a hell of a lot like Blackjack. Just red and yellow. Which, is pretty cool, and, due to the fact that he was Blackjack, he had an axe weapon that didn't attach to his back. That's where this Shapeways kit came in. This is why I got the yellow version. This slots onto his back and gives him his back wings, or the spoiler wings. But again, not the greatest connection. It's literally a case of, as soon as I slot it in, if I don't touch him, it stays in place just fine. Little shake, and it comes right off. And that is ridiculously annoying. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that off. And, I could just as easily paint this black, but I don't want to waste the time with it. It's a neat little gun. You can definitely tell it's supposed to be his photon eliminator. But whatever. Articulation for the guy is quite the abundance. He's got a swivel joint at the head, which is so loose that it honestly feels like a ball joint. A ball jointed shoulder. I guess you could call that a bicep swivel. A bending elbow, ball jointed hip, and ball jointed knee. So, quite the posable little guy. The Legends line has proven to have a bit of an effect on me. Especially when I was sitting there and then I throw him off. And especially when I was just sitting there having fun with them during my Legends line review. These are fun little dudes. Anyways, with that said, we are now moving on to the deluxes. And as far as deluxes go, I'm going to go from my least favorite up to my most favorite. So with that said, let's go to Sunstreaker. Now, vehicle mode is proper Sunstreaker. I like this a lot. And, clearly enough, he's a repaint / remold of Breakdown from Combiner Wars Wave 2. And this pops off, and it's his little sword gun thing, whatever. I'm gonna have to do a lot of camera switching, or lens switching. And the Combiner foot part piece thing is kind of an interesting gamble in of itself, because they designed this, they designed this as if they fully intended to make Sunstreaker. And I found that really odd, because when I connected this together for Breakdown, I looked at it and I'm like, that looks a lot like Sunstreaker. And lo and behold, he's repainted into Sunstreaker. Anyways, with that said, let's pull this off, and that would be the proper Breakdown vehicle mode, which it's a cool on Sunstreaker. It's a neat little trinket, I guess, but you can clearly tell this bit for the vehicle mode is specifically meant to be Breakdown. So with that said, he rolls. I don't even know why I needed to mention that. But yeah, transformation is quite simple. As I sit here and struggle with this windshield because it doesn't ever want to cooperate with me. Get over here. There we go. Flip up the windshield. You're going to pop the entire front of the car and fold it back like that. And then slide the arms out like this. Flip down the feet and then flip the spoiler down. And then these are going to kind of slide or hinge down like this. And then they click together right there. And he's got these, and quite like Breakdown, the weird hip assembly returns. Yeah. Anyways, you fold out the arms, and then this piece will fold back like this, and then this whole entire piece comes out from underneath the hood, flips around, pegs onto the chest, and then the shoulders come up to lock that into place. And then you turn his head around, and there's Sunstreaker in his bear robot mode. And I call it a bear robot mode because, well, quite frankly, there's this. If you fold this up like this, or I guess if you just fold up the thumb, you can peg this onto his back, and that gives him the engine block on the back. Or, if you wanted it even closer onto his back, you pull this off, you fold this up, to where it kind of makes an L, and then there's these little ridges right here that this will slide onto, and hold that into place, to where now it's not only is it closer to his back, but it's now, I guess, better. I mean, it gives him a bit of a tumor on his back, but whatever. And then you give him his little sword gun thing. And there we go. And Sunstreaker is cool. I can see what they tried to do here. But at the same time, this robot mode was specifically meant to be breakdown. I'm sorry. Articulation, ball joint, neck, really nice ball joint, shoulder, hinge and ball joint at the elbow, a waist joint, yay, these weird hip joints, ball joint, hip, thigh swivel that do to the hips you can't really use, and a decent knee bend. Yeah, yeah. I know it sounds like I don't like Sunstreaker. I actually do. It's just Breakdown was so much better. But now we move on to Ironhide. And this looks nothing like Ironhide. I see what they tried to do, but really, this doesn't work. This really doesn't work. He's a freaking top kick thing. And another thing that just doesn't work for him, this little hatchet, this little axe, this doesn't work for Ironhide. This works for Ironhide. Yeah, this is the combiner foot part where his storage is just kind of latches on there. And it fills out the back. And from what I understand, the third reuse of this mold, of this specific version of the mold, is going to be Trailbreaker. Yay. Where the combiner foot part, when it latches on, is going to create his full top kick truck mode or whatever. And that's cool. So with that said, his transformation, pop the front, fold it up, fold that down, bring out the arms like that, and kind of move the door to where it's off of his arm. And he has the Aerialbot transformation where you pop this and then it swings down like this and then folds up, pegs together, split the legs, rotate the head, and there is Ironhide in robot mode. And I love the robot. Like, I guess it might just be due to the head why I like this so much, but oh man, this robot mode looks awesome to me. And again, he has that. And you can either have him hold this as a gun, as like a normal little pistol thing, or you can do what I believe most people who are somewhat fans of the movie, and plug it onto his arm. And I think that works better. You know, this is a neat look. It's a very unique look, and just honestly, you know, I do feel that Off-Road was the better fit for this, but Ironhide's not that bad. Like, a lot of people gave Ironhide flack because I agree, First Aid probably would have been a better bet, but at the same time, that's too generic. And a lot of movie influence. Anyways, ball jointed neck, ball jointed shoulder, which this is a severely hampered shoulder joint unless you fold this up like that, and then it works out somewhat. Detented elbow, bicep swivel, nothing at the wrist, a waist joint, ball jointed hip, thigh swivel, and a knee joint. That's his articulation in a nutshell. And I guess you could do that for his shoulders. I don't know why you would, but screw it. It kind of looks good. So yeah, kind of moving him out of the way. Put him down. And now we move on to my second favorite of the deluxes, Mirage. Oh my lord. When the first wave came out, Dragstrip took the win as my favorite of that first wave. He was such a fantastic figure. When I found out that he was pretty much getting repainted into Mirage, I was all in. And having this in hand, I love this figure. I love the way this looks as Mirage. And you know, Dragstrip's cool. Dragstrip's really cool, but honestly, I think Mirage wears this a little better. Just a little bit. And yeah, you know, his little combiner foot part piece, and then this first godforsaken thing, it's so dumb. Anyways, moving on. Transformation. You to pop this piece like that, fold it down, flip this around. Well, I guess I could just fly through it because I already have reviewed this mold. Spin the head around and fold that. And there is Mirage's robot mode. And I love the robot mode as well. Just, I don't know, the very patriotic look to it, even though there's a lot of red missing. I don't know, just the way it looks, just the way it's repainted with all the blue, the white, the little hints of red. It's just, in my eyes, this is really nice. And, you know, he's got the same exact articulation, you know, the super scary ball joint at the neck, which I'm, like, honestly terrified that I'm going to tear that right off the freaking joint. Elbow joint, bicep swivel, ball joint shoulder with, like, 2 other hinges in underneath. A ball joint at the hip, a waist joint, an extremely tight thigh joint that is probably stuck in there due to all the paint. Okay, maybe if I do that. There we go. Stop it. Quit being a pain. There we go. And a knee joint. Yeah, it's Mirage. You can give him his sword weapon thing and his combiner part thing. And he looks all sorts of cool and neat. Where was I going with this? I have no idea. But you know what? Hey, he looks good. That's all that matters. And then we get into my favorite. You all knew this was gonna be my favorite. Prowl. I don't know what it is about Prowl. Prowl isn't a significant favorite to me in any way, shape, or form, but just, man, this Combiner Wars Prowl it's an amazing figure. Like, I'm just gonna say that right now. He is a great reuse of this mold. I mean, I thought for sure Streetwise was gonna take the cake as my favorite version of this mold, and then Prowl came out, and yeah. I love this mold. I love this mold as Prowl. It's so well done. Like, it's very subtle, that he's supposed to be, Prowl. I will probably say that like a million times, but whatever. You get my point. This looks awesome as Prowl. I cannot be happier with this. Out the hood. And then you kind of, like, his transformation is kind of weird. Where you basically got to come back here and then pop these panels open like this. And then fold these, and then fold the piece around like this. And then close this back around, and that's what forms his legs. And then you come up here, unlatch the hood, fold the hood back, flip the chest down, rotate the waist, bring his shoulders up like that, and then flip his hands out. And there is Prowl in robot mode. And I completely forgot to show off the little hand foot part thing. But one of the things I loved about Streetwise was the triple barrel shotgun. This is such a badass weapon. I'm sorry, it just is. Stick that in his hand. Drop the combiner part. And yeah, there's Prowl. Tell me that's not awesome. Prowl wears this so well. Ball joint in the neck. Ball joint in the shoulder with another hinge. Bicep swivel. Nothing at the wrist unless you want to break his hand. A waist joint, which, that's the norm for most of these guys. Ball jointed hip, thigh swivel, and a knee bend. And I don't even think I showed off Prime's. Nah, whatever. There you go. There's a Prowl. And I guess one of the major issues with this guy is that he has very loose, floppy hips. It's not so bad on Prowl, but I can see that, as you could clearly tell, just this mold sucks at holding the combiner part. Like, just flat out, this mold sucks at holding the big ass combiner weapon. It's kind of sad, really. Putting him over here, and then backing up so that we could get all 6 of them in shot. I approve. I like this. I like the fact that 4 of the first wave and then him. Yeah, poor Roddy. Never gets any respect. So where do we go from here? Simple! We go into the combiner mode. So switching this back over and going straight to Optimus. And ball joint to neck. Whatever. Anyways, you're gonna pop his head and flip it around. You're gonna rotate the arms like that and then fold them up and plug them in up here. Do the same thing over here. Flip the hand back like this. Rotate the entire upper body and then click his hips out twice. Rotate his legs, bend them at the knee, and then flip this up so that it plugs in, and I guess it needs to go out. I guess it could go out one more. Actually, now I stop to think about it, maybe I need it like that. Whatever. Bring this piece down like that, pop this open, and fold the head up. And you know, if you didn't have the chest piece, you can close this up, and it looks fine that way. But whatever. Anyways, that's Ultra Prime torso mode. I'm just gonna lay that down. Rodimus. If you had just a regular axe weapon, or if you don't have the Shapeways kit, you essentially just turn Rodimus back to vehicle mode, because this is essentially how he attaches. However, with the Shapeways kit, this is the biggest reason why I bought the kit. If you had the little axe weapon, you just plug that on and then stick them on. The gun piece will actually slot in right there. And then picking him up. So now when he goes in, I'm really shaking that and he's not coming out. So yeah, the Shapeways kit is a win in that regard. Now moving on, let's do the legs next. Now, the official combination has Sunstreaker and Mirage as the arms, and Ironhide and Prowl as the legs. I do this differently. Well, okay, not 100% different. You get what I mean. Basically, Ironhide, turn him back into the truck. But instead, you're going to flip the combiner port around and leave the front of the truck where it is. This will all come up like this. Come on, damn it. There we go. And I dropped the hand foot part again. His hand foot part plugs on right on bottom. And I guess if you wanted to, you could just store the axe on the side. Alright. Slot him in. Mirage. Pull this out. Pull out his little combiner part thing. Flip out the thumb so that it'll be a foot. And him, you essentially change him back, or at least his whole entire body, back into vehicle mode. Come on. Rotate the head and flip that up. Come on. There we go. Flip out the combiner port. And then take this piece and flip it up like that. Plug the foot in. plug the little blade thing, stupid blade thing in, pick him up, and then just slot that in. And there is the beginnings of what will be the combine mode. And I guess if you wanted to, you could put, or at least I do this, you don't have to. You can do the stupid extendo gun if you want to. This is just what I do. Anyways, Sunstreaker. Pull this piece off and transform it into the hand. Pull out his little bladed weapon and basically just fold up his entire upper body. So bring this down, and then all this will fold back, and then just spin his head back around so it'll all fit properly. Come on, there we go. Well, make sure all that's stuck together, and just rotate that while proceeding to fold that down. Plug the hand in and put this onto the back for storage. And there is Sunstreaker as an arm. Oh. And there's Sunstreaker as an arm. So then he slots on there. He's actually a lot more stable than I thought he was going to be throughout all this. Again, pull this off. Stand up, bro. Fold this. Flip. Fold that up. And there is his left hand. And essentially what you're going to do here, you're going to put his legs together, open up that, flip that piece around, and then fold this in. Pull off the shotgun. Fold his hands up. Up. And then fold all this back up into the hood. And then fold that back. Which is a lot easier said than done. And then there's these little ridges on his arm that's going to slot in right there, and it's a very loose connection, but it does what it needs to do. Turn him around at the waist, fold up the combiner port, plug his hand in, and there is Prowl as an arm. And again, it's Combiner Wars. Any of these guys can be any limb. But of course, we saw that with when we saw the comings of Drag Strip, Streetwise, Off-Road / First Aid, and all of them. And with all that said, there is Ultra Prime fully combined. And this looks better in hand. At first, when I started seeing pictures of the Ultra Prime combined mode with like random limbs and such, I thought this was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And you know, this Optimus Voyager has really grown to surprise me. Stop leaning forward. It's, but anyways, yeah, the Voyager body of Prime really grew to surprise me over time. The four limbs are great, and then Rodimus. Anyways, yeah. And one of the other things I feel is a huge accomplishment on Hasbro's part is he kinda posable. I mean, because the combiner ports in of himself are ratcheted. And all those hip and the waist joints become bicep swivels. The ball jointed hips and the knee joints become the elbow joints. And due to the way they connect, the combiner has a wrist joint. Which is all sorts of totally awesome and totally cool. Until you get to the Voyager body. This is the biggest downfall of this thing. Because, I mean, you know, ball jointed neck, you know, that's whatever. But due to the way, you know, due to the way he combines, he had a waist joint, which can kind of be used here, but it destroys the entire image. And he has hip joints, but as you can clearly tell, these hip joints really can't be used. So honestly, this body really isn't meant to be posed. And you know, again, the combiner port attached as a leg becomes a knee joint. Doesn't have any ankle pivots or anything like that, but you know, you can't have everything in our lives. And I love the look of this as a static piece. But as a toy, it kind of suffers. And I mean, you know, yeah, I can understand how others would view this as a throwaway. But you know, from what I understand, Battlecore Prime will have better hip joints. So if that actually ends up proving to be true, I'll get it. And I might try out the combine mode for shits and giggles. But, you know, at this point, I really could flat out care less. And wait, BC, what are you doing? I'm recording something. You're recording? What do you mean you're recording? You mean to tell me you completely skipped out on the intro with me? I thought we were supposed to be partners, man. Jackie, can you please calm down for a minute? No, I'm not calming down, alright? You know what? This is BS, alright? BC has gone off the radar for how long now? Right when I finally think that I get to retire a very, very happy bot, he starts recording again. This is BS. What is this? Oh! Shutting up! Anyways. Overall, Ultra Prime, it's a novelty at best. Do I like it? Yes. I love the look. I absolutely love the look. But can I recommend this over any of the other combiners? No. No. There are significantly better combiners in the Combiner Wars line. Like, hell. Freaking, this. Get this. Don't bother with him. Well, okay. If you want it, get it. Otherwise, you know, look around, see if there's anything else you like more than this. And if you still would rather have this, then I say go for it. It's a neat Optimus combiner, we'll say that much. And, yeah. With the Shapeways kit holding him in place a hell of a lot better, I'm happy to say that, you know, while yes, I definitely agree, this could have been better. This could have been a lot better. I'm happy with what we got. I've always been generally pretty easy to please. And I'm satisfied with this. With all that said, guys, this is BC saying stay nerdy and get your geek on. I will catch you guys next time.